Yeah, so Steph White explained why they cut Justine Pissott, and this just made me more angry. It's made me more angry. That being said, at the end of the day, teams can do whatever they want, and I have a video recorded from way earlier today called like the Fever are an unserious organization, and I'm going to talk a little more about that. And that video is going to be its own standalone piece. I'm just going to talk about what Stephanie White said in isolation. And everything I said hours and hours ago in that video. So it's going to be funny to see what happens after all this. But keeping Justine Pissott would have likely meant waiving rookie forward Vance Luton or veteran center Damiris Dantas. The two players get the least minutes with Fever. Yeah, it would have meant waiving Dantas. And let's take a read here. First and foremost, they're great culture players. Great culture teammates. They're going to be ready when their number is called. White said of keeping Vance Luton and Dantas over giving Pissott a roster spot. Gray's a young player I think can develop into a solid for this league. So do I. I agree. DD is a veteran who understands how to stay ready so she doesn't have to get ready. What? What are we talking about? Like, she showed up out of shape in 2024. I get it, she was coming back from an injury. They had an Olympic break. She never got in shape in 2024. She somehow rocks up unable to shoot the ball. Like, she looked like the best player in the world playing for Brazil in World Cup qualifiers, and then suddenly forgot how to shoot the ball. At no stage has Dantas been ready. Dantas comes onto the floor and the ball is there to be won, to catch, and she just stands there and watches as somebody else catches the ball instead. At no stage has Damiris Dantas ever gotten ready. Not just stayed ready so she doesn't have to get ready. No stage has she ever gotten ready. Damiris Dantas has not looked ready to play basketball as a member of the Indiana Fever since she signed for the Fever in this early 2024. Says here, she doesn't have to get ready. Who can play in certain lineups and certain matchups? What matchup do you want Damiris Dantas in the game for? The only time I'm like, do you want to play with Damiris Dantas? Like, maybe if you're playing the Atlanta Dream in the playoffs, she's a good matchup there. But there's no world in which you want her in over Maisha Allen. This isn't like last year. Where it was like Natasha Howard, Leah Boston, and then KK was their next big. No, they have Leah Boston, Monique Billings, Maisha Allen, and KK. So there's an extra big in that. Because again, they don't have a useless culture player like Bree Turner. Like, I'll give Bree Turner credit where credit's due. Bree Turner played hard on defense, but we've seen it plenty of times. She's terrible at the sport of basketball. Like, but at least she gave you effort. Dantas doesn't even do that. She was out of the rotation last year. Like, what are we doing? Like, it says here again, in certain matchups, you're going to give us great minutes in practice as well, and who are going to help continue to elevate and build and pour into our culture. That's it. That's the reason why. It's the reason why they said they drafted Raven Johnson. And I think there are other reasons to draft Raven Johnson, but I'm sorry if fans are questioning your draft decision and you use the word practice while saying why you draft them. Fans are going to lose their shit. They are going to lose their shit at you. And rightfully so. Because we talking about practice. Not a game. Not a game where your team has a shot of winning in the most open WNBA season of all time because nobody's that good. Fee does not look healthy. If you've looked at anything with Fee, she does not look healthy. She's not moving properly. She's not moving well at all. She does not look healthy at all. At all. So now it's like, if the Lynx aren't quite as good as we think, the Aces have lost Kennedy Carter. They are significantly less dangerous. The New York Liberty have a problem where they actually are not a good man-to-man defensive team. Yes, I think in the playoffs they're going to go a lot of zone. They are my current favorites to win it all. The Atlanta Dream can't play off, are a team that just shoots really bad. The Golden State Valkyries are the most offensively challenged team I've ever seen. Like, I don't think people understand this. Like, the Golden State Valkyries won a game scoring 62 points yesterday. They won a game 62-49. They are offensively challenged. The Dallas Wings don't start playing hard until they're down 15 points. The Indiana Fever are choke artists. The Atlanta Dream are on a 5-game losing streak. The fucking Mercury could go and win it for all I care. This is wide open. Any team that makes the playoffs has a shot of winning this year because, like, it is what it is. And next year, it's probably going to be as wide open. But, yeah, look, we're watching here and we're seeing, basically, we heard culture and practice. That is why they kept Dantas. Like, at least for Vance Luton, she said she could develop into a player. We got culture and practice for Dantas. Culture and practice. Like, I don't want to say that, like, culture and practice aren't important. But, like, you're in salary cap hell. You're in cap hell. And you're not 6'4" shooters with 7-foot wingspans don't grow on trees. They don't. And you're in cap hell. They don't grow on trees. Not only that, apparently they're just not filling in their dev contract. Apparently they're just not going to sign anyone. Fuck it, like, you're obsessed with South Carolina. Just sign Tanaya Latson for all we care. Tanaya Latson could be good. Like, Tanaya Latson might actually give you a bit of spark off the bench. But it doesn't really matter because Latson's there. Dantas is there on the team for the rest of the year. Like, Dantas is there for the rest of the year. And you have fully confirmed that Dantas is there. And, like, you can't go into next season. You cannot go into next season with Damiris Dantas on your team. You genuinely, you cannot go into next year and be a serious team with Dantas there. Like, the Aces got rid of their quote-unquote culture pieces. Their overpaying of Coulson, Alicia Clark, and they won a title. I get it. When your team is down bad and shit hits the fan, the culture pieces and keeping team vibes high is big. But, like, you gotta hit a baseline level of good to be in that scenario. And the Fever are not at that baseline level right now. They're just not. The Fever are not at that baseline level of good. And the thing is that if Pissott is good enough, if Vance Luton steps up, and I think Justine Pissott and Vance Luton are one off season in Europe away from actually being, you know, competent enough that they are going to be rotational pieces. So if the two of them become rotational pieces, then we're realistically looking at a situation where you come into next year, you could have had a 6'4" shooter, a 6'3" athletic power forward, KK for 2 more years on a minimum, and that be your bench. And then you can sign your then you can go and sign for like your vet bigs, and you should look overseas for those vet bigs because you can get a better player overseas than Damiris Dantas. Like, Damiris Dantas hasn't played on a good team in Turkey for years. Like, she's playing from the worst teams in Turkey. Like, she's been having a similar impact as Gilia Aileen. And we all know that she didn't even make she hasn't made any team. So, yeah, like, it's annoying. It is really, really annoying. Like, it's really, really annoying seeing this and hearing this basically being like, we're basically like, oh yeah, you know, we've decided to keep our. So we have a 22-year-old and a 34-year-old. We have a 22-year-old and a 34-year-old Are either of them good enough to be in the rotation? No. The 22-year-old is on a 4-year minimum contract deal. The 34-year-old is on a 4-year deal. Do we know if the minimum contract player is good enough? She probably isn't. Do we know for a fact the older players isn't good enough? Yeah, she's the worst player in the league. And they chose that. They literally went for vibes. I'm sorry. Like, I understand the Aces have won. But the only team that keeps players and does that stuff for vibes that succeeds is the Aces. And they have Angel Wilson. And as great as Caitlin Clark is, Caitlin Clark playing a Stephanie White system is not Angel Wilson. Like, you don't want to copy what the Aces are doing. Because the Aces are dumbasses. They just have Angel Wilson. They traded Malonga for Jewel Lloyd. Let's make that very clear. They could have had Malonga and chose Jewel Lloyd. Anyway, I'll see you guys.